I'll be setting the scene. First, I'll be talking a little bit about nudging, dark patterns, emotional AI, and extended reality. So what are we talking about? What is it, what we are seeing? Where are things moving with regard to free will? And then talk about free will itself and digital asymmetry, which is abundantly available when we as consumers move online. Then a little bit about the human rights aspects and ethics, also in line with what's mentioned also already this morning by Lena, when she said, okay, you know, do we really need more regulation? We need to talk about values. And I think that definitely is also something I would like to underline, that is important. What is it, in fact, we're trying to preserve? What is it we want out of this AI-enabled world? And then a little bit about the GDPR, whether it's fit for purpose, but of course the GDPR is just one element in this whole legislative framework. There are consumer acts, there are the upcoming, for example, in Europe, the AI Act. So there's so many acts actually, or regulations coming together on this theme. So the GDPR really is just an element, but this is a GDPR conference, so I'm mentioning some elements in that which relate to the GDPR itself. So, AI in a consumer world. What we see also is that we're moving away actually from privacy to consumer legislation or consumer world. Data privacy has become a massive consumer issue. And so when all of us are online, we, in effect, are constantly being nudged. Not necessarily is always negative. There is a positive nudging in the sense that you help people to find their way online and to guide them through a process. And so in that sense, and I'm taking the definition here from BUC, the European Consumer Organization, nudging can be described as an online interface or a part thereof that via its structure, function, or manner of operation subverts or impairs the autonomy, decision-making, or choice of recipients of the service. Now, this is, still, although we talk about impairing autonomy, impairing decision-making, it still is rather innocent, if I may say. But if we then move on to dark patterns in nudging, then we talk about, this is also a definition from BUC, that includes relying on user influence interfaces to influence and manipulate users, subverting intent or preferences, and abusing knowledge of human behavior to predict decisions of users and influence them. And to give some examples, maybe in the area of, say, normal nudging, things you probably all have heard of, and maybe we will be discussing later as well, is how you are guided through a consent policy. You know, this can be dealt with in various different ways, and it's a form of nudging. It is guiding you to take certain actions, and depending on the intent behind, it is helpful for you as an online user, or it is in fact limiting your choices. And in fact, it is important to realize this is a question of design. This is a question of how the interface has been constructed. So it means a technical choice has been made to build the user interface in this particular way, which means that if you can do it this way, you can also build it in a other way, which is more helpful to users and less restricting people in what they do. Gaming is obviously another area where stickiness is very important. The longer people stay online, the more potentially money they will be losing. I mean, that's my assumption with gaming. You lose more than you win. But at least it's a subjective opinion, of course. I am not gaming and gambling, so I don't know by experience. But you can increase stickiness in many different ways. And the moment you start to add to this, say, behavioral patterns, emotions, you know, to eye tracking or to help people, if you're in an XR environment, how with sensors, then, you know, you can steer, in fact, how long they will stay online. You can change the game, you can individualize the game for people to stay longer because, for example, they are, according to your sensors, are in an aggressive mode. So you can change the game to fit the game to their the mood they are in. And again, you can do this in good ways and you can do this in bad ways. I saw obviously or should I say ICO, not being ICO, ISO?
ICO.
ICO, okay, ICO, thank you. Has signaled obviously the same issues. There is this lack of autonomy, manipulation and influence are risks in their impact assessment template only recently from April this year. If we move